Good morning, everybody, and welcome to video one for this fabulous Friday morning. I hope everybody has had a fabulous week so far. We have a lot to discuss in this video. There's some Netflix issues. You know me, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory to catch you up just in case there's anything you've forgotten. But before I do that, I want to send out a message. So I'm starting this video by saying thank you to all the wonderful people who sent me beautiful birthday cards. You do not know. Before my mom died, she used to send me a card every year, and that one is one of the things I miss every year on my birthday. And of course, having no other family, really, I never get cards. So to have these cards show up really meant a lot to me. You just don't know. And to the person who sent me an extra gift and asked me to start a Going to Scotland fund, that is exactly what I'm going to do. All right, let's jump into today's story. Quick recap for everybody. So, 1 month ago, Harry and Meghan announced their two new Netflix series, The Cooking Show and The Polo. And the announcement was put on their Sussex Royal site, the one they weren't supposed to be running anymore. The announcements about these two things did not come from Netflix. Netflix has said absolutely nothing about this production. So the cooking show is being executive produced by Meghan, and remember, we've all heard it's going to be about friendship and cooking and gardening, etc., etc. And she's going to be using some professional chefs that worked with other professional chefs in the past. And as I've told you guys before, she's turning Netflix into QVC because everything that she's going to be showing in the cooking show will be available eventually on her American Riviera Orchard Montecito website. You all remember Pearl, the animated series that was in the early stages of production and then it got canceled? Okay, well, the two things that jump out to me, or that did jump out to me a month ago, was when it was also announced that they were in the early stages of production. I also told you guys a month ago that I thought this was a power play because they're announcing it. Netflix didn't announce it. Their contract is running out, and so now they're rushing to put stuff out and they're trying to force Netflix into showing the show. So as I told you a month ago, I found this very suspect the way it was put up because it's almost like they're trying to force Netflix into doing something. And let me remind you also that when they first signed this contract, they said that they were going to be creating content that informs but gives hope and making inspirational family programming and blah, blah, blah. And so far, everything they've put out has not been good. And just as a little back information, it's about this time that Netflix stock has started plummeting. It was like as soon as they took over with Harry and Meghan, it did not go well. And if you remember this article from April, it said that the cringe new cooking show was already being dragged across the coals. And it was about this time that Netflix started announcing things like this. As of the first quarter of 2025, Netflix is no longer going to give you guys or anybody their subscriber numbers because it's making them look bad. And they think that that is adding to the problem of their numbers literally crashing. It's like they can't wake up and realize that everything that Harry and Meghan have touched has dropped. And it's like the Markle effect. So then it was reported in April, right before they went off to their Nigerian trip, that Meghan started shooting her Netflix cooking show, and the initial reports coming out were not good. It was reported that it was fake and overrun and overdramatized. It just didn't look good. So then articles are coming out saying that Netflix is completely losing interest in the two of them because they haven't really done anything. I mean, think about it. They bought Live to Lead. Somebody else did that. It bailed. It did not do well. It was barely a blip. Then they did Invictus, which didn't even come in the top 10. And now they're saying that they're probably just going to go ahead and cancel their contract when it comes up next year. I mean, it's being pointed out that Netflix is no longer producing The Crown. They lost their Spotify deal. It was, very embarrassing what happened. Their popularity in the United States is circling the drain. And that people are like, you know what? They'd be crazy to renew the contract. They're saying that even more concerning for Harry and Meghan is that Netflix brought in Dan Lin, and he's going to be over the production division because there's been so much viewer backlash from the big budget, poorly received original movies, and that Mr. Lin is going to create fewer, bigger, better films and series for lower prices. So no more big, unlimited budgets. And that literally could be the end of Harry and Meghan. It's pretty obvious they don't know what they're doing. Neither one of them does. I mean, how many producers did it take to get the Spotify podcast out? How many production companies? How many executive directors? Wasn't it like 23? Let me also remind you, as I told you almost a month ago, that it was being reported that Meghan was going to be filming her show on a cannabis farm. Now, of course, we had seen the house where she rented because God forbid she cook in her own house. And the kitchen in this house is very small and, cozy. So where did this story come from? We do know that this stuff stinks like skunk, and a lot of very high influential people are complaining about the smell. It could be because they found that the cannabis farm is very close to the proposed filming location. Of course, Meghan's crew came out and said they are not filming on a cannabis farm. But again, word semantics. We all know how that works. So going back to Netflix and the whole cooking show thing, which has not been announced by Netflix, one of the things people keep talking about is this Grenfell cookbook. Remember that was actually commissioned by the Royal Foundation, which was William and Catherine. All Meghan did was write the foreword of the book, but she took full credit for the book. But here's some of the issues I've seen with her cooking. Here she is at the event. Her hair is literally hanging over the food. She's not wearing gloves, playing with her hair, and then touching the food again. Playing with her hair again, no hairnet, no gloves. That's disgusting. I'm sure some of her hair fell out onto the food. Here she is with the Grenfell women in their kitchen cooking. Notice, no hairnet, shirt unbuttoned practically to her navel. Notice everybody else is wearing gloves. You guys see that? She's dressed inappropriately. As a matter of fact, she goes to help them dump and she has to put her hand up to cover her breasts because she knows they're showing. But that's not the only time she's ever done it. Here she is on, with Matt Lauer, and she was cooking. And what does she do? Whoop! She puts her hand in her hair, pushes her hair back, and then puts those same disgusting hands in the food that she's making on television. I wouldn't eat that. That is disgusting. So would I want to eat food, that was prepared by this woman? No. I mean, why doesn't she wear gloves? Why doesn't she wear a hairnet? Why doesn't she, oh, God, I can just imagine what this cooking show is going to be like. And by the way, in case anybody hasn't noticed, she stopped filming the ARO to go over to Nigeria, and nobody's heard a word about any filming since then. All right, you guys, you know what I'm looking for. Go ahead and leave those comments. Don't forget to hit the like button to help me with my algorithm. And follow me on over to video number 2. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go.